Incredible dating. Just Pierce Brosnan has always been regarded as a symbol of beauty in Hollywood, no longer only for his role as James Bond but also for his marriage of over many years to Keely Shaw Smith. They had been as soon as praised as an extraordinary model of fidelity in the risky global of entertainment in mid-2023, but an unexpected allegation emerged, triggering a wave of hypothesis for the first time in years. Percent spoke out publicly, and from that moment what had regarded settled started to stir. Another time, my wife calls it felony cheating. She said it one night at the dinner party because a person turned into announcing, "How do you understand?" Said to my wife, PC Broen became born on May also 16, 1953 in Dragota. Era I grew up in. Era I realize what it is want to have smooth water and smooth air. After leaving school at the age of 16, he studied illustration earlier than pursuing drama in London. His degree career set up his call inside the United Kingdom, but the real turning factor got here together with his lead function in the television collection Remington Metallic 1982-1987. Well, alas, I have to visit Paris shortly. The function, now not best, earned him an Emmy nomination but additionally paved the way for the cinematic icon James Bond in 4 films between 1995 and 2002. You observed, "I have never always recognized your Chinese intelligence chain from GoldenEye to Die Any Other Day." Pierce became a global face and turned into named the sexiest guy alive by People magazine in 2001. That position James Bond has been a part of my lifestyles. It's in my coronary heart. Is off-screen though he persisted a deeply private bankruptcy of loss. Pierce married actress Cassandra Harris in 1980 and adopted her 2 youngsters together. That they had a son, Sean, whilst Cassandra died of ovarian most cancers in 1991. Percent fell into an emotional disaster, describing that point as a darkish place wherein no light may want to attain. He confronted the load of fatherhood even as grieving the unexpected loss of his spouse. 3 years later, tragedy struck once more whilst his adopted daughter Charlotte also died from the equal infection. A positive loss, assure adriftness within my very own heart. In 1994, for the duration of a work journey to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, future brought Keely Shaw Smith into Pierce's life. At the time, Keely turned into a television journalist, a former model, and changed into working on an environmental phase for ABC. Born in 1963 in California, she had regarded in Huey Lewis's track video Caught With You, a Billboard chart topper in 1986, and later acted inside the cleaning soap opera Standard Medical Institution. Music. Keely's career received popularity as a Genesis Award-winning environmental reporter, an award-winning documentary producer, Poisoning Paradise, and an activist for ecological troubles in Hawaii and California. Keely and Pierce met at a non-public seaside birthday celebration. In a later interview, Pierce said, "She had vivid eyes, she listened closely and spoke in a manner that made me neglect time." Quickly after they formally started out courting, Keely remained low-key in the media but was continually gift for the duration of crucial events together with Pierce's film premieres all through the 1990s. In 1997 they welcomed their first son, Dylan Brosnan. By 2001 Paris Brosnan was born that same 12 months after 7 years. Collectively, Pierce Brosnan and Keely Shaw Smith married at Ball and Tubber Abbey in County Mayo, Ireland. The wedding ceremony were postponed twice, once because of filming schedules and once after an automobile twist of fate related to Brosnan's stepson. Their published wedding life became in large part centered in Malibu and Hawaii, in which they donated to rebuild a public playground. In 2007 Dylan enrolled on the University of Southern California pursuing movie, while Paris evolved a profession inside the arts and every now and then regarded together with his parents at global occasions. Behind the reputation of a Hollywood leading guy stood a husband who regularly expressed his affection. On Keel's birthday in 2020, Percent shared a picture of a portrait he had made with the caption, "Thank God on your love, that is the vintage chair, a present from my heart." On their 20th wedding ceremony anniversary, Keely wrote on Instagram, "You are the maximum special individual, the true guy I've always searched for, even though by no means flashy." Their dating turned into marked with the aid of consistent gestures over time, from gala speeches to family images in Hawaii. Pierce and Keely offered themselves as an unshakable couple in a chaotic enterprise, but nothing remains nonetheless forever. Mainly whilst a surprising piece of the past starts off evolved to draw international attention, and from there the undertow began to rise. The accusation that prompted the crack in June 2023, a morning radio show in Sydney, unexpectedly drew attention. While a girl caller phoned in and claimed to be a former lover of Pierce Brosnan, the Woman figuring out herself simplest as Claire said she had met Percent in 1995 on the Shangri-La Resort in Sydney. Whilst he became selling golden eye, he become very captivating and didn't point out having a girlfriend. Claire stated live on air, "I don't think I was the only one." The phase quick went viral on social media and changed into quoted by Severa enjoyment accounts throughout TikTok and X. Claire's account became described as targeted and emotional, from the hotel call to her recollection of the assembly time to specifics like seeing Pierce Brosnan entering the lobby with an assistant inside 24 hours. Australian Information Systems commenced asking, "Did such an come across definitely take location, and if so, whilst did it occur in Brosnan's agenda?" In 1995, Brosnan had just finished filming GoldenEye, his first portrayal of James Bond. The film turned into released globally in November that 12 months, with promotional campaigns rolled out in foremost markets such as Australia. Consistent with global film press records, Brosnan changed into in Sydney in mid-September 1995 for a small-scale media event before the movie's launch. This timeline made Claire's story seem plausible at the floor. Nevertheless, public opinion became divided because of her failure to provide in addition evidence: no pics, no correspondence, no witnesses. However, numerous nameless online accounts commenced posting claims which includes, "I heard this backstage years in the past," or "I knew Claire's assistant back then." None of these assets have been validated. International stores like Humans Hi There and Enjoyment This Night did not record on the matter. British leisure websites together with Replicate and The Solar but published speculative articles with sensational headlines. Hollywood's most unswerving man faces a take a look at from the beyond. At the identical time, media experts remarked that if there has been virtually not anything to the story, Brosnan should issue a spark-off response to prevent. Similarly, escalation on social media debates erupted unexpectedly. Some customers, mainly longtime Brosnan fanatics, disregarded the story as a behind-schedule clout-chasing stunt. One consumer commented, "Claire have to have come ahead in 1995, no longer now." In the meantime, others puzzled why Brzn remained silent whilst the tale unfolded for days. Simultaneously, retrospective posts about Pierce and Keely's courting started out circulating again. Images from film premieres, holidays in Hawaii and candid moments in Malibu have been shared along captions like, "What lies in the back of Keely's smile?" A few customers reposted screenshots of Brosnan's 2022 speech wherein he declared, "We love each other deeply. Looking a person develop with you is a sacred journey." Nonetheless, inconsistencies have been mentioned. GoldenEye became filmed from January to June 1995 at the same time as Brosnan visited Sydney in September. For the duration of that time, numerous resources cited Kayleigh became present at as a minimum one event with him, although now not protected in essential media. This most effective fueled skepticism. Approximately the declare of a mystery courting with the aid of late June 2023, the keyword Claire and Pierce ranked among the pinnacle search terms in each Australia and the USA. Growing public pressure for the actor to cope with the problem. Entertainment applications like ET Canada and Access Hollywood commenced running dedicated segments reading the weekly developments. Despite the fact that Claire in no way reappeared on any platform, her initial message had a lasting effect as hypothesis pushed to the edge. The only factor that might shift public belief become a direct response from the ones involved with Hollywood watching and waiting. Brosnan formally broke his silence. What he stated quelled a part of the rumors, however also left behind echoes that might no longer without problems fade. Brosnan breaks his silence on July 4, 2023, almost 3 weeks after the Claire in Australia story had unfolded. Brosnan's media team officially released a brief declaration. Mr. Brosnan categorically denies the recent circulating claims that tale isn't always actual. It marked the first time in years that a personal rumor had pressured him to reply publicly. From that moment on, all eyes turned not just to the content material of his denial, however, additionally to how he chose to give his model of the beyond. In subsequent statements, Pierce's group launched a chain of info to discredit the accusation. A part of his travel itinerary from September 1995 become retrieved through archived news reviews confirming his attendance at a GoldenEye media launch occasion in Sydney alongside Kayleigh Shaw Smith. Pictures of the couple's status collectively at the Hilton Hotel all through that occasion, posted by means of Australian media at the time, resurfaced online with captions like "Timestamps do not lie." American press retailer Speedy picked up the tale. Radar Online launched archival material from Getty Pics verifying Keely's presence at public activities with Pierce for the duration of the identical week stated with the aid of Claire. Amusement Weekly mentioned the precise schedule of Brosnan's press engagements in Sydney, mentioning definitely there has been no time window massive sufficient for an encounter like Claire's to have befell neglected media stores aligned with Pierce answered rapidly. Humans mag referred to as Brosnan's declaration clean, direct and without deflection. Even the Every Day Mail, recognized for its tabloid tone, approached the problem cautiously, quoting a media analyst who remarked, if Keely turned into there, and the schedule become as packed as said Claire's story dangers disintegrate. Keely herself issued no formal press comments. Nevertheless, precisely one day after her husband's declaration, she published a photo of their circle of relatives via the seashore in Hawaii with the caption, "Nonetheless here, nevertheless us." The quick message became an image of agree with in disaster, extensively reshared via publications from Conceitedness Fair to Huff Publish every week. Later, Brosnan appeared at a charity event in Los Angeles. When asked approximately the scenario, he gave a short reply, "I do not need to dive into something that isn't real. What matters to me is circle of relatives. In fact, the entirety else is a person's selective memory." The response became broadly regarded as sturdy, sufficient to quit it mild. Sufficient no longer to harm those familiar with Brosnan. Recognized this isn't the first time he's handled turbulence with composure. After the loss of life of his first wife Cassandra, he declined dozens of interview requests, once announcing, "Some things deserve to be commemorated in silence." His response to Claire's claim accompanied the same ethos: no assault, no avoidance, but a firm refusal to permit the story spiral. Meanwhile, published disaster evaluation in American media shifted consciousness in the direction of the strength of Pierce and Keel's bond. The L. Instances ran a feature titled 3 Decades of Love and a Rejection Without Vows, highlighting how Keely failed to need many phrases for the general public to apprehend her stance beyond motives. What stood out turned into now not simply what became said but what followed, at a time when silence could have been the easier course. Brosnan once more did what few picked to do publicly. He stood up for his spouse towards the invisible weight of media and online speculation, the public judgment. For decades, Keely has regularly been the goal of harsh comments. Approximately her look after giving start to their 2D infant, she did no longer maintain the slim discern usually predicted of Hollywood stars. Paparazzi pics of the couple traveling in Hawaii often circulated on tabloid websites, accompanied by headlines focused on Keel's body and reaction as opposed to remaining silent or fending off the subject. Brosnan has continually defended her publicly every time given the chance. In 2022, while a social media submit implied that Keely have to shed pounds to be a higher healthy for her husband, Brosnan answered directly on Instagram, "I still love each curve of her frame." The comment was quoted with the aid of dozens of international stores from CFA Biz to the Big Apple. Submit and Quick have become one of the maximum widely shared statements of the month. Lower back in 2015, while rumors surfaced that Keely turned into considering liposuction because of media stress, Brosnan was reportedly the one who hostiled the idea. In step with a close own family buddy quoted in Viet Gi Tree, he instructed his wife, "You don't need to alternate something, you are the one I chose. And I really like you just as you're." Although this detail changed into in no way formally confirmed, Keely later shared in an interview with Fashion, "I in no way conceal my curves under loose clothing. I have not anything to hide." That support prolonged past words for extra than decades. Pierce and Keely have always seemed collectively at essential occasions, from the Mamma Mia Here We Cross Again premiered in London on the Amphar Gala, and Cannon frequently held his spouse's hand and displayed affection without hesitation in front of cameras. To many these might also look like small gestures, but in a global in which relationships often collapse below photo pressure, standing by an associate who defies conventional beauty standards is a meaningful assertion. In his 20th wedding anniversary put up in 2021, Brosnan wrote on Instagram, "Happy anniversary Keely, my love for you grows more every day." A year later, he brought, "We like each different deeply. Watching someone develop with you and develop vintage with you is a sacred journey." These words have been now not polished with the aid of PR teams, but they carried a completely unique weight due to the fact they aligned with everything he had proven for years on social media. Many older audiences regard the couple as a version of mature love, contrasting with the fleeting romances not unusual in Hollywood. A People article referred to, "In a sea of transient relationships, Brosnan and Keely are a quiet answer that the first preference can nevertheless be the very last one." Life after the hurricane. Almost a year after the Claren, Australia rumors erupted, things have quieted down. From 2024 through mid-2025, Pierce and Keely have largely withdrawn from predominant red carpet events. Their maximum current public appearance turned into at a charity gala in L. In early 2024, wherein they supplied an award to a marine conservation agency after that the couple back to their familiar homes $100 million property in Malibu, California and their private house at the island of Kauai, Hawaii, wherein they had as soon as together donated to renovate a public playground at 72. Pierce has stepped again from everyday movie roles following tasks like Black Adam and The Outlaws. Between 2022 and 2023 he paused signing new contracts. As an alternative, he has turned his cognizance to portray and pastime he once described as a deeper form of recovery than any function. On his non-public Instagram account he often stocks images of his paintings created in his private studio, occasionally with a easy caption like, "Right here enough." Keely continues her work in environmental advocacy. She stays concerned in events held with the aid of the Environmental Media Association (EMA) and once in a while participates in network projects in Hawaii. She not offers press interviews. Her social media content facilitates round nature circle of relatives and sustainability. Her Instagram bio now contains simply 3 phrases. Wife, mother, activist. Their eldest son Dylan Brosnan, born in 1997, is now an independent filmmaker. He graduated from the USC Faculty of Cinematic Arts and is growing social documentary tasks. Paris Brosnan, born in 2001, is pursuing a profession in visual arts and rarely appears in public. Both are defined as having chosen privateness and have made no public comments on any circle of relatives associated subjects. In May additionally, 25% posted in birthday celebration of his 72nd birthday. The accompanying photograph turned into a easy unpolished own family portrait. The best caption read, "At this age I just need peace and the folks who simply be counted." The put-up acquired over 1 million likes inside 2 days along thousands of congratulatory and admiring comments. That equal month Keely reposted an old wedding image to mark their 23rd anniversary, adding the caption, "Marriage is a each day choice." The phrases were quick, embellished and philosophical without having to be. They quietly affirmed that no matter what had passed off they were nonetheless selecting each different every day. Some media outlets revisited the tale, this time with a distinct tone. Arrogance Truthful wrote, "Now not every marriage escapes controversy. But a few don't need to guard themselves due to the fact they stand as their very own proof." Humans emphasized in an age in which every word is fact-checked by using the minute. The manner Pierce Brosnan and Keely have selected to live collectively is the most honest reaction of all. No want to persuade absolutely everyone, no want to show something they're nevertheless maintaining. Fingers rarely seen, however by no means letting go whilst the noise fades. What remains is how human beings pick to be with each other. The story of Pierce and Keely won't be ideal, but it's miles enduring, and in a noisy global on occasion it is silence that makes human beings agree with and love the most. What do you consider how Pierce Brosnan selected to stand by means of the lady who has been with the aid of his facet for over 3 many years in a global wherein every courting may be scrutinized with the aid of public opinion? Does the way they shield every other via quiet and conviction make you reflect? Share your mind in the comments. Bear in mind to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not leave out tales which might be actual, layered and significant like this one. Thank you for looking.